and you're on the air here with Patrick on the corner. Welcome, Alexander. I am really thrilled to see you here again. I mean, like, I thought that you're
Yeah.
like on AWOL on me since I haven't seen you here for like a month. But then you reminded me that I was on some heavy meth acid trip, and that actually been a couple of days or 6 days since we did that recording. So I'm
I
like,
mean, but what really happened here is that since apparently, and I haven't been on the corner for like apparently for 5 episodes, even though that's only 1 week ago. So I have been like busy with reading for my bachelor's dissertation, and then I'm like getting a call here 1 week later. And then I check our channel, and I'm just like seeing, holy shit, man! Look at that. That's as much as we had uploaded last month, all in last week.
yep,
So yeah,
yeah,
maybe your time frame has just been compressed, so you think a month has passed or something. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. That is very likely, man. Like, I wish that you had like seen The Sopranos, because then I would have done an episode on Tony's character development. Um, and we're doing Walter's character development from Breaking Bad next weekend, presumably. If that guy,
Yeah.
if that guy don't fucking show up, and yeah, Seb, I'm calling you that fucking guy, then we'll just do it ourselves. All right.
Yeah. But you can just like if you want to discuss I suppose you have some one of the other guests who knows a little bit more about Tony's character development. Maybe they
Yeah, yeah,
can
no, like
have some insights on that in a different episode.
I'm in the talks with a guy from a Sopranos forum, or from a Sopranos server on Discord. Who
Yeah.
was keen on doing that.
Yeah.
Which is like I don't know, but like his character is like really similar to Walter in the way that he starts off nice, right? But he
Yeah.
declines to become some fucking emotionless monster and being like, huh, you're my best friend and you fucking stabbed me in the back by talking to the fence. Bam! 5 bullets in the fucking chest, man. Right? So yeah, like to like evolve or devolve from like like, hey man, you're my best friend. Let's go and grab a beer, man. to
Yeah.
to that is some journey. Anyways,
Although, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know about The Sopranos, but with regards to Walter, before we get into to the other stuff we want to talk about, I want to say, like, with regards to Walter, he does, even in season 1, even in the very first episode, the pilot, have outbursts of this crazy bad demon devil, whatever, that's living inside of him already from episode 1.
yeah, he
Because
does.
Walter has always been a greedy narcissist with delusions of grandeur, but that has just been nurtured by
Yeah,
this meth environment that he's in.
yeah, but like it doesn't really seem to get triggered in Breaking Bad before he gets the news that like
No.
he's got cancer. That's the
It's like,
trigger. That's the trigger point. That's the trigger point where he gets the news that he has cancer, because then he's like, "All right, oh fuck it. Then I can afford to be reckless and do whatever the fuck." Right?
it's like you could probably compare it to a seed that is lying in one of these self-plant bags, if you will,
Yeah.
that you can buy, and that you've just stashed away for months on end,
Yeah.
and then you suddenly decide to take them out and plant them, and then you get a big ass evil plant out of it.
Yeah.
I know the metaphor is a little off, but you get the
Yeah. I get the point. In Sopranos, it's a little bit different since like that guy don't have fucking cancer. He's just a prick living in a big ass mansion with his wife and kids, and has the occasional Russian prostitute that he will see to get the occasional screw in. And except for that, then I guess like like one thing I thought about with The Sopranos is that if this is like actually how the fucking mafia is doing, they have it pretty fucking chill because he sleeps until like 10, 11 every day before like he starts to like, now I can get up and put on my fucking robe and check the newspaper. What's in the newspaper? Nah, nothing.
Yeah.
Get something to eat and then see my cronies either at the strip club and have a drink or at the or at the fucking butcher and have a coffee on the sidewalk. Anyways, I'll get that in another episode. So, like, what other topics are out there? We have like either Biden Trump that's coming up on Tuesday, but that's not.
Oh
Really,
yeah.
that's not like really laid back to discuss now, and I want to like have an
Yeah.
American's thought on it.
Yeah, they will have a lot more. I would be glad to be on that as well in the background
Yeah.
to like listen to some of their views. That would be very interesting. I would be up for that, and also like assisting googling stuff along the way. It always goes a little bit more easy if you have someone who's just focused on typing, like
Yeah,
like
like
Jay.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like say like my thought out there is that Trump will win because just like last fucking time when he went up against Hillary, there seemed to be like this silent majority in several states.
Yeah.
And these are the people that are like keeping their mouth fucking shut about what they're voting for because like just like in Denmark, right, there ain't people going out saying like, yeah, I'm a social democrat, I'm a
Yeah.
full blown Lars fan, for the left party,
At
right?
least most people in Denmark are keeping it quite
Personal,
quite
right?
yeah, quite
Yeah,
personal, not a
yeah,
secret. I mean, it is. They probably discuss it with their families and friends, but
yeah.
you don't go out and blast it on social
This
media
and
or
this
in
and
public.
this makes it useless to this makes polls useless because it makes it unreliable, right? uh, because you can't go on to like realpolitics.org or .com or what the page is and see that like Biden is like winning in that state or Trump's winning in that state and call that 100% because you have that silent majority that are not saying shit.
At least you shouldn't take it for granted. Like, you shouldn't take it as the end result.
No.
You should just use it as a almost like a guidance or something to see, well, what is the majority leaning towards, and so what could I base? Of course, you should never base your decision alone on the polls. You should watch the debates and then base your decision on what arguments you agree with the most.
Yeah. Like
That's
what I haven't understood quite there is like why they are like doing all this, like crap slinging on each other in the debates, because there is like several valid arguments both candidates could come out with. When Biden is like coming
sure.
out, when Biden is coming out and calling Trump out on mishandling the corona situation, then Trump shouldn't just respond with like some BS back. He should respond with like, well, Joe, like I'm also like kind of the reason why the economy in the U.S. is on its way up. Because he has done a lot for the economy in the U.S. He has managed to, like create a lot of jobs in America regarding the tolls and taxes on steel and other products being imported from China, forcing Americans to buy from Americans and then creating jobs to make that in America.
The unemployment situation in the U.S., however, is still at 7.9% as of September 2020.
How bad is that? How bad is 7.9% then? Still,
pretty bad in Denmark. I believe it's 4%.
Yeah, and in Bosnia it is 50, man.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, but.
Oh yeah, of course, because it also varies from state to state.
Yeah, I believe that too. That it varies from state to state and stuff. But yeah, like, but I think like that will all change at some point. 7.9%. Then that's what, like 10 million Americans.
And that is based on what? Based on what evidence that this will change? Well, on that Trump is such a loudmouth.
No, I'm basing the assumption on that like the economy is still in growth. It is still growing, and at some point, like this pandemic will end, and then more people will be hired again in the U.S. I assume, and that's kind of like what I'm basing it on. But yeah, it sucks for those 10 million Americans that are unemployed, though, because as we know, the US is not a welfare state. And by not being a welfare state, then there is nobody getting like a 2K unemployment check a month in the US, unless they're like heavily insured.
This is interesting. On tradingeconomics.com, it says the GDP growth rate in the United States averaged 3.16% from 1947 until 2020, reaching an all-time high of 33% in the third quarter of 2020 and a record low of minus 31% in the second quarter of 2020.
Damn.
So how on earth does that make sense that you have such a large, like you have a decrease in growth in the GDP rate in the US on minus 60% in 2020 from the second quarter to the third quarter?
I don't know, like how that.
No. You have a growth. You have a growth from the second quarter to the third quarter.
No, like I don't know, like how that's even doable, and how they have managed to have that.
Because that's not all Trump. I mean, this is pretty damn fast.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm no economist and have no intention to become one. So I don't really know. If anyone who's listening out there like can explain that, please leave it in the comments.
Yeah, I'll leave that in the comments. But yeah, it sucks for those 10 million people that are unemployed, considering that they don't have a welfare system over there, or that they're not a welfare state. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sucks would probably be to put it mildly.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people who are unemployed in the US, it is hell, basically.
Yeah, because that means that like most Americans are actually living month by month, right? So if you lose your fucking job over there and you're unemployed the next month and the next month after that and the next month after that, and you have a mortgage to pay or rent to pay, you're screwed, my friend. You are totally screwed because you're not going to get any help from the government. You're not going to get any help from the county. So, that will just make you become homeless. And then,
But we can't just leave it at that. We can't just leave it at say you're screwed, because that term is too simple. We have to also we have to delve into what does that mean, being screwed. Well, it means that you are either becoming homeless or you turn to other means, probably violent means of obtaining the money, because guess what? You as long as you exist, you need food. And as long as you need food, you need a ways to obtain the money to buy said food or steal it. Then that's when crime arises. This is how crime arises.
That just made me think how demeaning do you have to feel if you're sitting outside a fucking McDonald's, a cup in hand, and a sign saying, "Give money, need food."
Who's doing that?
If you were to be homeless right now, right, or become homeless in America, and how fucking demeaning would you feel sitting outside a McDonald's or gas station or something, with a blanket on you and an empty paper cup in your hand, and a sign saying, "Give money, please, need food."
I wouldn't call that demeaning at all.
Yeah, but wouldn't you feel demeaning having to rely on this, knowing that you have had to stoop this low to get money to survive?
No, because you gotta think about these people that are in this situation. They have, I mean, some of them probably don't accept it, and that's understandable. But most of them, I think, have already achieved some level of acceptance of their situation, and with that being said, they also kind of accept the crime that enters their lives, because they don't see a different outlet. They are already starting to accept this lifestyle as their own, and that's danger. That's the dangerous point.
Yeah, shit, man. So you're saying that you would accept that this is my life now. I'm homeless, and this will become my life until my death, or be my life until my death. Holy
exactly.
Shit. Holy shit, that's dark, dude.
Yeah, it is. Well, no, not for them. It isn't. For society, because society is the one that has to deal with it. For them, it is a comforting fact, actually, because and that's actually another thing that I would like to discuss maybe in another podcast. That acceptance is actually the truth to all life, in a way. All problems arise when you are not accepting a given state. When you, for instance, if you're not satisfied with your bullshit Kia that is only driving 110 kilometers an hour because there's something wrong with the exhaust pipe, then sorry, I had to take a breather there. Then if you're not happy with that, then it's going to cause you great pain. So then you are going to put so much pressure on yourself to buy something that's better, because you do not accept the car you have. You do not accept that you drive slower than your neighbor.
Man, that ties directly into what we talked about in the episode Less is More, where people are not fucking accepting, that, this is my income, this is what I can afford, this is what I can do. No, I'm going to go out and I'm going to take up a shit ton in MasterCard loans and credit card loans to buy that shit that I'm not accepting, that I don't have right now.
No.
Fuck, man. But yeah, so
It
that's true. A lot of our issues and problems bottoms in acceptance,
yeah, or the lack of
the lack
acceptance
of acceptance.
thereof,
Yeah,
um, because you see it actually on a daily basis. People who are sitting at the cashier on your like in the supermarket. They're sitting there beeping beep 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 one item over the counter after the next, and they and there's a guy standing in the back of the row yelling faster faster man,
holy shit,
and
man.
the cashier has two options now. They can either accept that the guy is yelling faster, but and then be like, yeah, okay, I accept that. So what? I'm still gonna do it at my own pace.
Man.
Or they can yield in and don't accept that, and then yield into that yell and say, well, if he does that, then that must mean that I can't accept this, so I have to work faster too, and that's how the society machine keeps rolling faster and faster and faster, and that's going to implode eventually, in my opinion.
Fuck, man, that just like reminds me that like I once had a job working as a cashier. I think it was like I think it was like the fastest get the job and quit the job I've ever had, because I quit like
Yeah,
after 2 weeks or so. I've had it because it was like you're like saying that you're like hearing that beep beep, right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
like I would like go home and like I would like think, fuck, man, I just want to put a bullet in my skull if if this is what I'm going to be doing. Um, but
Yeah.
then and then like I started to have like these like some bullshit conversations there with the bosses at this place, and it would be like, you need to smile more at the when you're behind the cashier desk if you're going to keep this job, Patrick. And that's for them. That's when I said, you know what,
Uh,
fuck it, and then I left.
but yeah, yeah, and I get that because, but what's even worse is not even that physical stress of someone who's just yelling faster, or someone who's saying you need to smile every second you're in here, or
Yeah,
something like that. It's actually, what's even worse is the subliminal thing that you don't see, the fact that even though you say to yourself, nah, I don't need to smile today. I accept that I'm having a down day, or I accept that that this guy is yelling faster. It still is in the room, and it still affects you on a subconscious level.
yeah,
Like even
yeah,
even if you don't want to let it, that word faster still goes into your brain and it keeps almost sitting there like a shadow, and that's even worse um, than you actually accepting that than you not accepting it. You still have this thing, in this monkey in your brain, that is actually working against your own will,
yeah,
if you understand.
yeah. No, I
You have
understand.
that, it's called the prefrontal cortex, I think. That's the one that in the brain that makes sure that we do things here and now, the conscious decisions, basically. And then we have I don't know what it is, controls our subconsciousness, but that is that which can actually, with if we get so much negative stimuli to our brain, then that can start to contradict our prefrontal cortex, our will that we are actually doing consciously. So we have this contrast between consciousness and unconsciousness that's going to clash eventually. It's going to explode.
Yeah,
And that's what you see with mentally unstable people who are
yeah.
snapping.
Or what's happening when somebody have an actual mental breakdown at work,
Yeah.
and say, no, I can't do this anymore, right? Even if it's been like 10 years or something. And I'm like, I'm like witnessing it happen at my work, because, like, check this, man. Like, there's a guy in his 50s, right? Oldest dude on my shift. And then, like, just out of the blue, he's like, I just want to, like, have permanently the graveyard shift, or, like, like working from not the graveyard shift, but like evening shift, working from like 14 to 22.
No.
And I'm like, holy shit, I could never do that, because you're losing the entire day, right?
Yeah.
You're like waking up, and like, if it's me, then I would like be waking up and like thinking, I gotta get to work, like, I gotta go work, right?
Yeah.
And then he all of a sudden no longer wants the work phone. He no longer wants to do this, no longer wants to do that. So it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it's like a wave of indifference has hit this guy. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Yeah.
Like a wave of indifference has hit the guy, and I'm like, the fuck do you have? do you have cancer or some shit? I ask, right?
Yeah.
No.
That's probably one of the later stages, I think, of this, because he has already absorbed so much of this subconscious negativity that it has already built itself to this point where he just shuts it out, and then he shuts everything completely, because he has so much of it already, so he's not receptible to taking in anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, anymore.
So like lock the door. Like, no more,
Yeah,
no
exactly.
more. Yeah. Fuck, man. Like,
And that's very dangerous in a way.
It is.
The only way that can actually be cured is by sending the dude an actual smile, like actually fucking, or clapping the guy on the shoulder and saying, it's gonna be fine, bud. It's gonna be fine.
No, I think like it needs more, man. Like, if it was
It
me,
need much more.
it needs much more.
Definitely.
You would need to, like, this guy would need to wake the fuck up and think, 14 years at this place is enough for me. I need to find something else.
Yeah, but that's
Right.
like, of course, but that's easy for us to say that this guy needs to do that and sit here in judgment, say, you need to do that, guy.
No,
Like, it
I
may
know
be
that.
easier said than done.
I know that, because none of us have like had a job for 14 years straight at one place.
It's actually easier for us to just do one, to just like create one positive thing that can then act as one part of his positive spiral upward again. So, like, just fucking, if you just encounter this guy, you just actually say hi to him with a smile on your face, and then that's going to, together with hopefully other things, is going to turn him around at the end of the day.
Like, that's not working. That's not working.
But it is the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
The other thing is just sit in judgment and say you have to change, but that's definitely not going to work.
No, that's definitely not going.
No. So what? So what is the solution here? And I mean, it is kind of funny, but like, it's also kind of sad, because right now we're not offering any solutions to this.
No, because there is no simple solution, and yes, like, if it was me, I would like, I probably like thought like, okay, I'm gonna fucking quit. But I can't really say that either, because I haven't had a job for that long time, So, like, for me, it would like be easier to say like now or in 6 months or something. Like, fuck it, I'm quitting. I want to find something else to do. But when you like been there for so long time, I think it does something to your mindset, because it will grow on you. It will grow on you to the point where like where you're going to think and you're going to be blinded, and you will think, well, what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So this,
When they have become stale.
yeah.
Well,
And this reminds me of something like a teacher told me at the business academy when I took that BS construction manager education. And he said, it's not fucking healthy to have a job for a long time. It's more healthy to quit the job every year or every second year and find something else. That
nah, I'm not
that
sure I
was
agree on
no,
that
like
though.
that was his mindset. So like he was
Oh, that was his mind.
that was his mindset. So he had like a ridiculously long resume and CV of like different jobs, like 30 different jobs in the last 35 years or so, right?
Yeah, but I will also say I wouldn't exactly call that the wrong way to live your life
No,
either. I
no,
mean,
no. Yes.
if new experiences is what makes you happy, then you should by all means pursue that.
Yeah, yeah,
But you also then you also have to accept the instability that comes along with it.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Exactly,
Back to
exactly.
the accepting of
And
stuff again.
and like this guy was like driving an old Volvo, right?
Like Gustavo
Yeah, like
Fring.
Gustavo Fring, but he was like driving way more than Gustavo because like holy shit, this
Yeah.
guy lived in like the geographical center of Denmark, which is Aarhus, by the way. Um,
Is it? Seriously?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
it is.
Actually.
I've studied up on this, man, and it was also a Viking settlement, but we'll get to that in the next episode. That we're like,
But that's if you count all of the Eastern Sea as well. Otherwise,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
otherwise it's not. Otherwise, it's actually Odin's.
yeah. But like
Uh,
if we're counting like all land and sea territory belonging to Denmark, then Aarhus is the
and
geographical center.
all those 9,000 islands or however much it is that
Yeah, fuck,
Denmark
man.
owns.
There's a lot. There's a lot. Um, but anyways, like driving crazy, like a lot, like for to the very southern part of Denmark to work, and then on work to the next day on the other side again in Denmark in Esbjerg. So like, fuck, man, the mileage of that car would have to be insane.
Yeah.
Like always, like being late, man. Being late, folks. Being late, class, because like the cars can't start.
Wow.
So I don't know. Like some people are just like driven by by the weirdest reasons. I guess I would never want to drive like 100 miles or more to work one way.
No, me neither, man. Like, I mean, also imagine the carbon footprint that leaves on the
On an
environment.
on an old Volvo from the
Yeah.
1990s.
That probably runs on the dirtiest fucking diesel there is.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. Holy, wow, shit.
Oh man. Oh, that's some funny shit.
Yeah.
All right. Like coming up on like 34 minutes here. There was like another thing I wanted to discuss here. Sex robots and the future of this
That's
industry.
interesting.
Yeah, because it's like popping up all over the world, popping up like fucking factories like making these robots because somehow, like people are convinced that this is going to sell like crazy in the future. And you're like already like seeing like increased sales of at least sex dolls and child sex dolls, by the way, or in child sizes in Japan.
What the?
In Japan,
Ser-
right? Yeah,
Seriously?
seriously. And like
What the fuck,
and in
man?
Norway they have like
Oh,
put like a limit on like how tall these dolls can be and shit. And that they can't really resemblance a kid, because if they are resembling a kid, then they are seizing them in customs.
yeah, of course, as they should. I mean, I can't even understand that this is fucking legal in
No,
Japan.
no.
I mean, fuck, man. But I guess it has always been a crazy country. But still, I mean, fucking child. Stop.
Yeah, man.
What
Yeah,
the
man.
fuck?
Like,
What's wrong with them?
so what's going to happen? You know, like in the future, what the fuck's going to happen when the technology gets there, where you can like have a life-sized robot, right? That looks
No.
almost like completely human, and you can choose exactly how tall and how big and how small this robot's going to be, right?
No.
Would that be like perfectly legal then in Japan to have like a kid robot giving you oral and oral
Oh my god,
and
please.
shit?
Wow, this is such a vulgar topic
It is.
indeed. To
It,
stop the to end this episode in the same episode where I actually think I had some pretty good points on acceptance and and life philosophy in general, and now we're ending with
and so like now we hear me. And
ah,
so, what's your acceptance level
oh
on?
my.
What's your fucking acceptance level on this?
No, like no, yeah, okay. Maybe this is actually a good point to reach on at the end of the day to get my point across, because I don't mean that you should be accepting of everything like that everyone does at a given time. Um, like I'm literally just mean you need to be accepting of everything that happens to yourself, basically.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah.
You do.
So yeah, yeah. So
I understand that.
it's only inward acceptance. So everything, and that's also what meditational practices are about.
Yeah.
All the vicissitudes of the world, all the pressures and pain that are falling down upon us every single day. We have to learn to be accepting of that, but that doesn't mean that you should accept your own actions. Like, your own actions is something you need to think very carefully about. And using a fucking sex doll that resembles a child, nah, man, I do not accept that. No,
No.
no,
But
I do
yeah,
not
you know, like
accept that.
I'm just like fucking afraid of like how that's going to turn out in the future, man. Because I definitely
Uh,
don't think that every country will have restrictions on it. And
I
they will,
definitely think it's okay to have a sex doll, and like these. I mean, like, people can do if they're into it,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
have the technology for it. Why not?
of course,
But considering the huge problematic area there is with pedophiles and with child abuse uh, in modern area, in modern area, and in modern era. What the fuck, man? Why
yeah,
do you keep saying area?
yeah,
In modern era, no. Then this is a topic you can't cross this threshold.
yeah.
This is, I don't know. It's just morbid to me. I like it's disgusting to even discuss it.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. Maybe they have a different culture over there, but still, fuck.
Yeah, like it says in that article that I sent you, that childlike sex robots are robots, not humans. Like virtual child pornography, the development of childlike sex robot does not require interaction with any children. Yet, it might also be argued that childlike sex robots would have serious detrimental effects that compel state action.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
it would definitely, if there are even any cultures like, and apparently Japan is the subject of talk here. If there are some cultures that see this as okay, that are going to legitimize this,
It's Japan.
then
It's Japan.
then it has to be at a level where it will not affect by like either, I don't know, by either a video or by or in public, where the act of this will not get into public, where it can physically and mentally affect any children or even adults, any other adults who don't want to see it. It has to be kept like something that a secret, basically. It has to be
like some dark fucking secret. Yeah.
It has to be a private affair, because otherwise, as you said, it could mentally affect children, especially children, but also adults even.
Well, like yeah. I'm under the opinion that child sex robots shouldn't fucking exist in the first place.
No, me neither, of course. But I was just extending on your.
And it is completely fucked up that somebody is like thinking, man, you know what could earn some money? They make these robots, and I'm going to make them in child sizes.
But that's where we are again with human greed and fucking innovative spirit. That's the dark side of the innovative spirit, I guess.
It is for sure. What about the saying in this article that how many Americans believed that like this would be like an everyday? Almost half of Americans think that having sex with robots will become a common practice within the next 5 decades. And then the courts are playing catch up on this. Like,
but to be honest, actually, like on the other hand, as a big believer in overpopulation, I do believe the world is largely overpopulated, especially with regards to how little jobs there are these days. At least how many, like it. Yeah, I was just going to go off on a rant here on food production and all that.
How many will like bother to go out and find a girlfriend or to have or have kids, men especially?
A lot of people. The world could be actually, I think that every household could own 5 sex robots, and people would still have sex with each other. I don't think that's gonna stop. No.
What? I don't know. Like, I think like that depends on like how lifelike the fucking thing is, and if it talks and shit. Because
you mean like the robots in Westworld?
Yeah, exactly.
But
if it's like the fucking robots in Westworld, then I don't know, man. I don't know.
To be honest, I think we're still very far away from that kind of emotion in robots.
But check it, man. Like, we're talking like within the next 50 years. A lot can happen in that technology in 50 years, man.
Yeah.
So could we have like Westworld like robots in 50 years? I think so. I believe so that we could have that, and let's just stay on that. If that was the current technology and that was like possible to acquire or would be possible to acquire within the next couple of years, wouldn't you think so? That like, you know, like that people would just buy this shit and have it at home?
Yeah, of course. But I also still think that love is better than sex. I mean, these sex robots are exactly for this. They are for the act of no, not for love. No. They're for sex. They're for the act of sex, for this nasty thing. I am still a big believer in that love is, especially because I don't think you can actually ever program love. So I don't think we're even going to have that problem. You cannot manufacture love
but
within another human being. So that's
no,
why I don't
maybe
think
not
it's
within
going to be
another
a
human
problem.
being, but it could definitely be a man loving a robot. I believe in that.
No, no,
That
it's not love.
no,
It's not love.
well, he
It is sex.
don't matter. He would believe that shit.
No,
It's
no.
just you know
Yeah, and
it
okay, but then again, yeah, okay, then again,
okay.
so what? So what?
Let's just take it.
Like actually, I believe
Let's just take it.
men who will fall in love with that is only because they don't have that love from a real woman. But there will always be men who
Let's
have a
just
real woman. So
let's just kick this up a notch into fifth gear.
okay,
And say that an old man or 50, 60-year-old man
I'm
from Denmark goes to fucking goes to fucking Thailand and and gets a 20-year-old Thai girl and marries her or fucks her or whatever, right? And he's like, I'm in love with you, babe, and she says, I'm in love with you too, baby. Right? You believe that's 100% love, or do you believe that she's only in it for the money?
no, of course,
Right?
that's only money.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
right,
course.
right.
And wouldn't a sex robot there be better? Then she
Yeah,
wouldn't have to endure that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, probably,
I don't
probably.
really see the problem there.
No, but
I see
I
the
just,
problem right now, actually,
I,
when they do this, when they fucking just use some poor Thailand.
Thailand, yeah,
What is the adjective?
just Thai.
Yeah, Thai girl just for the money. That is a problem. I actually believe the sex robot thing could be a solution to that.
Yeah. Um, I think so. I
Um,
think so too.
but
I also think that it will also be one of the leading causes to put a damper on the population increase in the world in some countries. And we're
yeah,
already
definitely.
seeing a population decrease in Japan because
Yeah,
Japanese people are like focusing on career and jobs rather than family and kids.
yeah,
And that is like also why I suppose that Japanese people are like getting all these weird ass fetishes with
yeah.
cuddling hotels, and which is, by the way, if you don't know, that you pay a woman to cuddle you, not to have sex with you, not to do anything with you, not to kiss you, but to cuddle you.
Yeah,
That's fucking weird, right? And now these sex
yeah,
robots and shit. So, like, Japanese people have some weird ass fetishes, but maybe there's a connection there to being workaholics, right?
yeah,
And we are seeing now, like, we're not
yeah.
seeing
I think that the work ethic in Japan is also a major factor in that regard.
yeah,
So
and we are
you can't only put it on the missing love thing or the population thing as
no,
well. Yeah,
and we are seeing other countries now in the world, such as Italy, where also the
yeah.
population is going downhill, but it is not.
But is it so bad that the population is taking a little dip during these times? Is that so bad?
No, it's not. It's not. And this is and what's happening in Italy though of this is that it's not actually the men that are workaholics or career focused. It is the women, and I think that
No.
that's fucking surprising.
Well, we are living in feminist times.
And also, apparently, like in Italy, men typically live at home with their mothers until they're fucking 40. You imagine that? Living at home till you're fucking 40? Goddamn. And like, this is also one of like my personal theories on like why Italy was hit so hard with Corona in the beginning, because you have so many generations living under the same roof.
Well, like, but then again, I mean, Italy has just always been a family driven
Yeah,
country
yeah, I know.
where
And
like la fa- La familia es todo. Even Spain as well.
Yeah.
La familia es todo.
Yeah.
That means
Well,
the family is everything to
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Crazy.
so yeah, but like, can you manufacture love? No, no, you
Well,
cannot do that. You
like you
cannot
couldn't.
program it. There's no chemical formula for it. Just as little as there is
They could. They could in Westworld.
just as
They
little as
could in
there's
Westworld.
yeah, but that's fiction, dude. That's a
Well,
fucking TV
well,
show.
like fiction is, like how we perceive fiction in today's world, specifically sci-fi, is usually also like how the world's gonna turn out, man. Because like that's our imagination, and the future is going to be what we imagine it to be. And imagination
Yeah.
is a much greater force than you think.
Believe it
So
or not, I actually agree on that. I
right,
do.
like
Yeah.
look at fuck, man. Let me think.
Because it's a beautiful thought, but I think with the time horizon for this happening is much
Okay,
longer than we can.
that we can semi agree on. But for instance, look on the first Alien movie, like 1972 or something, right? Hauling mineral cargo
Yeah.
on a spaceship across space. I don't think that's so distant from what could happen in the future. That you would
Yeah, it's
like
true.
asteroids or planets could be mined, and you will have some fucking
I mean,
space. Yeah,
we're already transporting food and other goods to the ISS, to the International Space Station.
yeah, exactly. So why not that you would like have like some big ass spaceships in the world, transporting large loads of minerals mined from an asteroid or a planet or something somewhere, and they're just transporting this stuff on a journey that like like might even take years if it's being transported to Earth from a distant planet, say like Mars, right?
Yeah.
So so I don't think that like that Ridley Scott was like that far off when making Alien in the 19 like the first movie in the 70s.
No, and I agree. Also, a lot of fiction is definitely a good source of inspiration
Yeah,
for science in general.
yeah.
Uh,
In the second Alien movie, then we actually see some kind of like base on another planet. Where they're all also mining or some shit doing that.
yeah,
Right. So like not so far from the future. And like they're already now planning on establishing a colony on the moon.
yeah.
And they're building and they're building a cell phone tower on the fucking moon. Nokia is building a
Damn.
fucking cell phone tower on the moon because
Wow.
because they have like studied this, and like when astronauts are on the moon, then there's like big largely connection issues with the radios to Houston.
Yeah.
So they have like decided to like just build a tower on the moon, so they will like have full coverage on 4G or 5G or whatever it's going to be.
No, probably 5G
Yeah,
if we know them correctly.
yeah,
Like the government technology is, of course, years ahead.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
well, I think
but yeah, like I still don't think you can do it. Manufacture love. That is, I think that is specific, like a very unique thing for humans, and
well,
like we even see that problem in Westworld actually. Like I think it's even Robert Ford who says that at some point, uh, is it actually like, yes, sure, they are hooking up and stuff, but are these two robots that are hooking up? is that even real?
Yeah,
Or
or
is
do
that
they
just,
something they
or
believe? Yeah,
yeah, or is it just something they believe?
yeah. Well,
So yeah.
there we go, folks. Final thoughts from Alexander Troy Trostrup on this, who was on the air on the corner. Thank you all for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share, all that shit. Thank you for listening, folks.
Yeah, you're welcome.